Okay, we've gotten out our paints, and I made a little bit of a chart here so you can, let's pull it in here so you can see what we're going to be using. We have ultramarine blue, this is yellow oxide, pine green. This one is not in the 12-piece set. This is called Diary Lied Yellow. It's got a little bit of a yellowish red tint to it. We have raw umber, black, white, and naphthol red. Now naphthol red is not in the colors 12-piece color set. This is you can always use naphthol red light instead. Either one will work. I believe this one is naphthol red. I think I grabbed the wrong one, but any red will do. We're just going to use it for accents. So those are the 8 colors that we're going to be using for this design. And let's back us back up again. Whoops, wrong way, sorry. Okay, now we are going to, on our canvas, I have just put the horizon line, and this is just a bumpy little hill, so anywhere you want to put any kind of a little sketched line on your canvas to denote sky half and ground half, and it's not right in the middle, it dips down. We are going to use that so we can start our sky, and I'm going to have you coat the lower area with some ground cover. So let's get started with the sky area. You'll notice that you have 2 tones here. One has a lot of white in that sky. Then we have a silhouette line of trees. Can you see that? And yours, you can brush sketch this on, or you can lay a pattern on. I've given you the choice of both. We add a little more blue, and then we put this on. And then we'll move down and we'll work on our ground area. So let's get our ultramarine blue and white. This is going to be very pale because we're going to do the top section first. Now you might want to mix up a good amount so you can go ahead and, I like to brush mix, then you get a little variation. I've got some, I went back and put extra little tints of white. But the very top section, and this is just to cover your canvas, is going to be white. And I'll show you how to put on a quick line of trees as soon as we get this color on. See, I never can mix enough. I always have to go back, but I don't mind brush mixing. I like variations in color. I don't like everything to be perfectly mixed. Okay, so now we have, I would say, the top 1/3 of the canvas covered in blue, a very pale blue. And I'm going to, I must have something dirty in my brush. I'm seeing burn umber streaks. Okay, let's come in a little bit. Now we will have that line of trees. Now you can just take the end of your paintbrush and you can estimate approximately, it's say the ground area, 1, and to this tree is 2 sections, and you just about divide it into thirds. But we're going to just sketch in a little bit of a tree line. Now my trees will never be the same as my pattern because I'm just sketching in a little something. And you can, I don't want you to dry it because we need to blend. And there we go, we've got a little tree line. It doesn't have to be exact. Every forest in nature is different. And I'd like to jump down to a little bit, maybe not yet, add a little bit more of your ultramarine blue to your mix, just to deepen it ever so slightly. And then we are going to come in. Now I'm not going up into the sky area yet. I'm just going to get some coverage down here. Some blue. We'll do that up there with a smaller brush, but I want to get that paint on. That's why a big brush. Big brushes make your life a little easier, goes a little quicker. I'm just adding extra blue, no other color, blue and white. Okay, and this blue area can come down. I made that little line where I know the grass will start. The blue area can come right down to where that line was, down here. And about there will be where my grasses will begin. Alright, now I'm just going to set that brush aside. This is about a number 8 or 10. And I'm working on a 9 by 12 canvas right now. You can enlarge or shrink the pattern according to whatever size canvas you have, or panel. It can be done with a panel. Doesn't have to be done on a canvas. Wood panels work nicely. So have your wood cutter give you. Now I'm just picking up the paint. I'm doing little dabbles. Okay, right now it's very distinct. It's not softened yet. But I'm just laying in a tree line. Okay, so we go down a little bit, this one. And then we'll pop back up a little bit. Side. Alright, so I have a tree line. Alright, so my color is in. Add a little more color here. Okay, my color tree line is in. Now I'm going to take my paper towel. Use a double folded paper towel. And I'm going to pinch wipe my brush and remove some of the paint, because I now just want to use this as a blending tool. We're not going to apply paint, we're going to soften. Now, because this paint stays wet, you can soften with a finger or you can soften with your brush. I used my brush. Okay, if you want more color, just go back to your paint and lay in more color. But then pinch wipe again. I'd like a little top of the tree, and we'll soften the background. Wiping the brush out allows you to get a soft wispy edge. And this is just called atmospheric perspective. In the background, when you look across and you see mountains in the distance or tree line, you'll notice that it's a little hazy in the background. And that's what they call atmospheric, put my teeth back in, atmospheric perspective. And that's because as you're looking a vast distance, there are lots of little particles in the air. And those little particles cloud your vision a little bit. And that's how you get a very hazy look. If you got there and got out to that tree forest, they're not faded. They're sharp focus. But when you pull way back in the distance, they become very softened with the atmospheric perspective. I thought that was kind of cool. Never thought about it too much. And then it was explained to me and I said, "Ooh, I like that thought." Okay, so you can see how I'm softening. Correct? You can see that easily enough. Alright. Alright. And we do this while it's wet. because once it's dry, these sharp edges of the brush would not fade. You're just tapping this color gently into the white or pale blue tree line. The pale blue sky, excuse me. Okay, so now you're softened. Any little dark spots you want to soften in, you can do that. Now you also will take a little bit of this darker color on your big brush, and you can just add a few accents down below the trees, a little bit. I think that looks nice. Just a touch here and there. Nice and soft. Okay, that's good. Now we're going to deal with this line, this edge here. I'm going to clean my large brush. I'm just using some extender. Pinch wiping the brush. Squeeze it out in my paper towel. And now my brush can pick up yellow and it won't turn green. And this is yellow oxide. And I'm going to, if your paint feels sticky, mine felt a little sticky, I put it out and there's air conditioning running. I'm just working a little bit of extender into my puddle. Your paint should be like chocolate pudding consistency, nice and creamy. Alright, now we're going to be dealing with the lower section. And that's going to be just a slip slapping motion. Go up near that edge of blue. Now, of course, yellow and blue make green, and our grass area is green, so that's a good thing. Okay, whoops. My brush got into the burnt umber. We're going to add some darks in a minute. But I'm just covering. We just want to cover our canvas, picking up a little bit of white. This is a little bit sharp, a little bit of white mixed into my yellow oxide. There, that's better. That'll soften it. It's a little too sharp color. So adding a little bit of white. So you can start out that way if you haven't started already. Just add a little bit of white, makes it a little more opaque. And we're just covering this area nicely with paint. This is the yellow oxide and white mixture. There we go. Alright, now I'm going to pinch wipe my brush a moment. We're not finished with that. We just got a background in there. Covering the little white. In a canvas, you see a lot of little white nooks and crannies, and to have them showing in your painting is not very nice. It's much more professional if you can cover them. So I did just that by covering the color once over, toning the canvas with the color, and now we will. Okay, now we have to soften this edge. So I'm taking my brush and I'm going to go up and back into this. Putting a little bit of yellow oxide and white on my brush, a little bit, pulling it up into the blue. Now I'll pinch wipe, and I'm going to take a little bit of my blue paint because I still have some on my canvas, or my palette here. And I'm going to pull a little bit of blue down into the yellow. Okay, so we've got two colors going there. Now I'm pinch wiping the brush, and I'm just going to work those two colors in. You can use your finger. That works nice too. But we're just losing that edge. Okay, put a little bit of blue back in. Got a little muddy. Pull a little bit of blue and white here. Just so we don't have a hard edge. We're going to come back and there's going to be so much grass in here you won't see a thing. But that's a little bit softened. Okay, so that's where we're going to stop right now for this background. And we'll be right back and we'll move on to the next step.